All right. Hello and welcome. I'm Kale, and this is our fifth session of our Urban Shadows Second Edition game on the Open Hearth. We'll be playing tonight with a handful of safety tools. We've talked through some lines and veils in prior sessions. Um, Feel free to take a look, make sure everyone is up to speed on that. But I don't see any changes there. We'll also have some breaks, about an hour in and another about 2 hours in the sort of 10 to 15-minute zone. Um, and the X card is active if anyone needs to stop and uh, pause, remove content for any time or for any reason, or slow down the game as needed. And then lastly, open door. If you need to leave, then by all means, no questions asked. I may get called away by either small children or, unfortunately, I'm on call for work tonight, so I may need to bail because of that. But hopefully, we can play all the way through. So yeah, I guess now let's just start by going around and doing a quick player and character introductions, starting with David.
Hello, David, he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Morgan Stone, he, him pronouns, who's the playbook The Gargoyle. And I think this is my third session. So I'm more of a cameo guest character here. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what's happened since last time.
Jesse.
Hi, I am Jesse, pronouns he, him. I am playing Carrie, whose pronouns are also he, him. Carrie is a vampire. He is I don't know, more than a petty crook, less than a big time crook, somewhere moderately leveled crook, who also drinks blood. And just want to flag, because I realized I forgot last time, I do have a one-time passes move. So as we're resolving some of the things from the faction term last time.
Oh yeah, and we never did the end of session last time.
We did not.
Oh.
I was since we had only had a couple of scenes.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
But I just want to flag that as we're resolving it. But yeah,
yes,
that's who I am. That's who Carrie is, and yeah, excited to see what happens tonight.
Kay.
Hi, I'm Kay of the She and They Variety, and I will be playing Red, our Oracle, he, him pronouns, who's just kind of lost in a world of trying to do the right thing while also trying not to do the wrong thing, and it's hard. It's very hard. I too have a faction turn-based move that we did not do last time that I have to do this time. And yeah, just excited to play.
Brandon.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm playing Dancy Flammarion, who's a young woman who used to be a monster hunter, working for what she thought was an angel, but in fact was a demon or something like that, and who quit that and came to the city where an old enemy caught up with her and killed her, except that a group named Thanatos intervened and offered her a deal to swear to work for them, something that Dancy accepted because she thinks she's going to hell and wasn't eager to get there yet. She's a lost child, coupled with, Blade. Very much older than her years in some ways and very much not in other ways.
And lastly, Stephen.
Yes, hello there. I'm playing Miss Smash. She, her. It's been a week. I've been juggling putting up someone to rob Morgan, putting Harry up to threaten the person I'm putting up to rob Morgan, and also just generally fucking with my own faction. So
Excellent. All right. Right. So let's go ahead and these let's kick off these time passes moves. Starting with Red, since they were, I guess, nominally supposed to go before the faction turn. And we'll do Red and then Carrie. And that hopefully will give me maximal time to figure out what what I'm doing with Carrie's Red's move there. So Red, why don't you go ahead with your
Yeah.
roll.
Let's see. Da-na-na. I am rolling with my spirit, not mine. Who am I talking about? The spirit, which I have 2 in. That's an 11. So what I am rolling for is my foretellings. On a hit, pick one of the options after the faction turn. The MC will tell you what your prophetic tools have revealed.
And you didn't roll a 7 to 9, so I guess you just got to pick one of those questions, and then I'll roll it into the faction stuff.
Let's go. An ally has come to own an item. I mean, I feel like some of these are just factually already true. But an ally has come to own an item that might reveal more about your prophecy. The MC will tell you where they keep it.
All right.
Or should I not do that? I feel like we already have. Sorry, it just.
Yeah,
Does that
I mean, I wouldn't want to just like, you already know
throw
about
an
the
item? Yeah, throw a third
the
item.
gem, so maybe
Okay. I'll go a different one. We do already have 2 items finagling around. Here, okay. Fate has provided an opportunity to fulfill your role for your benefactor. The MC will tell you how to seize it.
okay. Yeah. And Red, sorry, Carrie, you've got your web.
Yeah, so my web is when time passes or the start of the game, choose someone in your web and learn a secret about them that they'd rather keep buried. Mark corruption to ask a follow-up question about the answer. Their player must answer you honestly. Dancy, what is a secret you would rather keep buried?
That I used to work for a demon. I didn't know it at the time.
Interesting. Oh, I definitely am going to ask a follow-up question because I've had very few opportunities to get corruption so far in this game.
Sure.
And I want corruption. Also, I want to know more about this demon. Oh, do I want to know more about the demon or do I want to know more about you? I want to know more about you. What did you do for the demon that you feel most guilt for?
Well, I basically, when the demon pointed me at monstrous targets, and I went around killing them. And I am not sure that some of them needed killing.
Got it. Okay.
There are a lot of werewolves there.
Sure.
That probably would have been fine left alone, honestly.
jeez, and you talking shit about werewolves this whole time, Nancy.
All right.
There were some of them that were pretty bad. Werewolves are like people. Some of them are
Yeah.
awful.
Like people, werewolves are. Yeah. Thank you. That was great.
Pleased to be of assistance.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead now. So before we left at the end of last session, you all made some moves, city moves. Some of those will have sort of full scenes, but I think a few of them are smaller. So specifically, Carrie, you had some questions that you'd asked of your contacts. So the first question was, what happened to Jeremiah Tlaylock? And I think, and so you were asking Mortalis. I think what you find out, what you hear back, is that someone that Cyril knows over in the West End are pretty sure they saw Tlaylock being kind of bundled into the back of the back of a van by some sort of muscled gentlemen in suits. But they didn't know, they didn't see much after that. The van peeled out, and they don't have more. Your second question was, who has a debt on Dinesh Chopra? And it turns out you know this person. Dancy has a debt, and you find out that you find out from I'm not sure quite how the word filters back, but Dinesh was talking her up, and how she had helped save him from an unfortunate mistake in monster identification that could have been fatal.
Cool.
And then the last thing you asked was, who sicked Jerome on Jessica? And what you hear is that Jessica had been asking questions, asking around at the Fours, trying to sort of, it sounded like she was trying to dig up information about the Pickman Foundation. And certainly from what from what you'd heard from Ani, it doesn't sound like sounds like she may have been scared by what she found out, which was perhaps justified, given how things wound up with Jerome.
But who sicked Jerome on Jessica?
So
that wasn't the. Sorry, I'm just confused about the answer to the question there.
Sorry. Yes. So I think as a reminder, so Jerome is a regular at the Fours, and was hitherto unknown to be associated with Pickman. So I think what you gather is it's less of a matter of someone having sicked Jerome on Jessica as Jerome having taken it.
Okay, Jerome having taken it into his own hands because he has some connection to the Pickman Foundation and didn't like her poking around. Got it.
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
you. Sorry, I just didn't catch that.
No, that's fine. That was less clear than I was intending. So let's see. I think we've got a few other moves here. Let me. So, sorry, Red. I'm trying to figure out how to connect your city moves, your city move, and your foretelling, Red. Okay, let me think a little bit more on that. Dancy, you had asked what Percival has been up to. What has Percival been up to recently? Oh, did I? Let's see. So that, and you rolled a 4, which I think means you still get your answer, but there are some questions. Some questions are asked. Consult. Yeah, ask one and hold one. Okay. So what you find out is that the let's see. So what you find out is that Percival has been I guess making bids to sort of increase his leverage throughout the city. You know, he's been sort of trying to collect some more powerful artifacts and really sort of put himself into a position to I guess stand almost, you know, toe to toe with Euthanatos, potentially kind of challenging their kind of hold on some of the kind of magical goings on. You know, I think they currently are set to put they can put a pretty strong damper on the types of magic that they are not that they disapprove of, and I think he has sort of been pushing for equipment and allies to make a bid against that. I think that the question that comes calling, though, is, you know, as you're asking around about Percival, you hear from Oldenburg, and really the gist of what you hear is,
Kale, I'm really sorry to interrupt you,
oh,
but
sure.
I think Kay may have stepped away for a second.
Oh.
She wrote BRB in the chat.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, but now she's back. I just wanted to make sure that you were.
Yes.
I just noticed. I was like, oh, maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. I don't know if you missed.
Thankfully,
if you need a
while I
recap.
wasn't at my computer, I did hear you talking about Percival. I appreciate that, though, Jesse. About Percival trying to obtain items, looking to sort of take stronger hold against Euthanatos.
Great. Okay. So the question you get, Dancy, from Oldenburg is, why are you digging around with Percival? The Euthanatos, you know, you've got a job to do. You haven't figured out what's going on with Playlock, and they gave you a lead. You've been seen with the vampire of Boston Garden, but haven't brought anything back. Why not? And to just to remind, anyway, so the move itself says you have to answer it honestly, mark corruption, or owe them a debt. And that's basically, if you're going to lie, then you have to mark corruption in order to make the lie convincing enough. I forget what the particular context for owing them the debt was.
He asked for time. I thought if I gave him some, he'd cooperate. I sensed that if I pressed him, that he'd clam up. He's had enough time now. I'm going to go ask him again.
All right, I think he
Which is the truth.
Yep. So I think he begrudgingly accepts that. Okay. Morgan.
Yes.
So you had put out the word that you were looking for help securing the area around Millennium Tower, and I think you'd had some information from the from your sort of investigations in the werewolf den to think that they maybe were fighting the same fighting the horse thieves that are sort of have been encroaching on the tower as well. And I think your feelers are you get a response. But it isn't from Stella. Who you hear back from is Vincent, who you know when you meet up, you recognize him actually as one of the wolves that was out, you know, sort of in that fight outside the den. And he's I think we haven't seen Vincent in a while, but he is sort of one of Stella's second in commands, and so what he sort of offers you here is that he is willing to put a you know, he's willing to put a word in Stella's ear, that you might be a good ally to have, and that they might be able to help you out with this sort of the problem you've been having with the horse thieves. But while she may have forgiven, you know, or sort of moved on, you know, accepted that you folks were looking for Red, I think they've sort of gathered that you're friends with Red and kind of understand Stella understands maybe where you were coming from. I don't think Vincent's quite forgiven you yet. And so he wants something from you as well, which is he wants you to help. He wants you to find something for him to bring back to Stella, that she can use in this fight, and that something that she can use to sort of help. Well, something useful for her, and specifically Vincent wants to be the one to bring it, to kind of raise his lift him up in the pack a bit.
Okay.
And he is also, you know, so that's, he's looking for that. He's also going to want a, you know, you're gonna owe him for basically looking the other way, for sort of forgiving and forgetting on this getting into a scrap with his pack mates.
All right, so it wasn't Vincent who we had the fight with Dancy.
No, Vincent. I don't think he wasn't the like guard out front.
Okay.
But he, as you were in the middle of that fight, there were more wolves that had kind of poured out of the front of the den, and he was one of those. So he definitely knows, kind of that you were there, but he wasn't actually the one that was throwing punches, because I think you guys took off before
Right.
that fight devolved further.
Is there a kind in this game? Is there a kind of haggling in the fiction?
Yeah. So to read the text of the city move here. So on a weak hit, a rival within your circle has what you want, has what you need. They want a debt and something more as well. The MC will tell you what they want, but you're under no obligation to pay their price. You're welcome to turn down their offer, make a counter offer, or even try to take it from them by force, if you choose violence over diplomacy. Although that clearly that particular option probably doesn't work here.
Okay. I think what Morgan would like, he's tentatively said yes to this. Assuming that it doesn't bring harm to his domain.
Sure.
And he would like to know the name of the werewolf that they were in conflict with.
I think Vincent's pretty suspicious of you asking about sort of the name of that particular werewolf. I think you might have to like give him a reason. What is it you're going to do with that name?
I'm not planning to give it to a sorcerer, if that's a concern. I don't even think Morgan knows any sorcerers. As someone who's working to establish themselves in this city, I would like to know who I get into fights with.
Yeah, so I think that's sort of enough to enough for Vincent. And he gives you the name, which yeah, so that wolf's name is sorry, I was about to use want to make sure I'm not stepping on the names that are yeah. So that wolf was named Matt. And Vincent actually, says he'll do you one better, and he'll he'll set you up to go out and buy Matt a drink if you're interested. You guys can patch things up.
Oh yes, we'll go for a ride in my new car.
Perfect.
Yeah, so what is this thing that he needs?
Well, I think he knows you're he knows you're a an artifact collector. So I think he's actually, I don't know that he knows a specific he doesn't have a specific artifact that he's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
He's hoping you can maybe come up with that you can
Oh.
that you can locate something.
He wants me to do the shopping. I'm gonna have to charge him a little extra for that. Like,
I mean, you're the one
shop. He wants me to shop for the mob boss in his life. Okay.
you gotta keep your ears out.
Oh,
Keep your ears
I'll
open.
do that. I'll do that. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Is there a timeline on this, Vincent?
I think I don't think he's willing to talk to. He's got your word on it, and he's gonna take you at your word that you'll keep an eye out, and he'll set things up with Stella to try and get some additional muscle as needed to help you push back the horse thieves.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. Thanks, Vincent. Pleasure doing business with you.
All right, and do write down that you owe Vincent a debt for this whole
Okay.
setup. Ag. All right, hold on. My cats are getting into it. Give me a second. Okay. Let's see. So what other moves do we have going on? I guess we're back to red. I think you're the only city move left.
Is everyone spreading word about how what's her face is really bad at her job?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That and
just,
that
just
will
clarifying.
Yes, your rumor definitely took hold, and
Miss Mash chuckles to herself whenever she hears it.
Yeah, I am sure she does. Let's see. So, red.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question first.
Okay.
So we know that we know that Percival is madly in love with you.
Yes.
How does Red feel about Percival? I mean, we know he's also Red is certainly not exclusive since he's dating Carrie on the side. But what is sort of how's your?
Well, I guess Red doesn't believe that he's dating Percival. Like he just thinks they
fair enough.
A benefactor kind of patron, sort of almost like a job kind of thing. And I think he obviously clearly cares for Percival and feels like they have like a very special bond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Daddy Warbucks kind of vibe there. And it's not to say that I think Red is a opposed, but he's dating Carrie. Like he met
Right.
Carrie first. Like,
Yep.
And he's dating Carrie. He can't date someone else. Like that's not right. You know.
Okay.
So I think I think he if circumstances were different, that could have been a thing, but that's just not how it worked out because he's dating Carrie. You can't date someone else when you're dating someone. That's just not
As long as you refuse to acknowledge that you're a money boy, you're not a money boy.
Yeah. And it's just this is a business relationship. I give him, fortune tellings, things like that. But he's also, been very good to me as just like a friend and things like that. And he clearly cares about me.
Perfect. Okay.
And have you ever said this in front of anybody else? You'd get a reaction.
I think he's had this conversation. Or at least with him and Dara had this conversation. In like the first episode.
I think wasn't that like the first conversation in the entire game?
The entire game, yeah, was literally that. Dara and Red having that conversation where he's like, yeah, we're really, we're close, things like that. He's been really good to me. I help him with, his, visions, things like that for his pursuits, and he's been kind enough to like give me a place to stay and start introducing me, around Boston and about like magical society here and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe it could have been something, but I was dating Carrie. I'm dating Carrie.
All right.
Red has probably never even heard of polyamory or the fact that you can do that.
Red seems to have very few things that he I am struggling with the
Carrie also
Red.
has dated the Jehovah's Witnesses that turn up on his door.
I think we talked about this last time. Red does not have anyone he considers a rival, right? Like that is
no.
Yeah,
which does not mean that there are not people that do not consider him such.
Right. Yes.
Or that he's just not aware of.
Right. Okay. So let's see.
You want to take a slightly early break and?
I may need to. Sorry. I am trying to figure out how to square the foretellings and the city move and make those actually work. So yeah, why don't we take our break now, and come back in, let's say 15 minutes, and then hopefully I'll have a better answer.
Sounds good.
Thank you, folks.
Right.
Hey there.
All right. Okay. So, Red, the thing that you're the dream that you had, in it you see a figure that's sort of drenched is the wrong word, suffused perhaps in blood, and you understand that to be Percival, and he seems to be sort of swirling around him is a just kind of deep night full of stars, and there seems to be some sort of competition or maybe not open combat, but between Percival in the sort of the blood red and this figure that's really just sort of just midnight and stars, and in your dream what you get is that they the sense you get is that if they were to combine forces, that Percival would sort of grow and gain as a result. And it's not long after you have that dream that at one of these events that Percival takes you to around town, you're sort of circulating among the guests, and a wizard introduces herself as Amina Al Asri, and you can see that it is sort of the thing that the first thing that jumps out at you is her eyes are this same midnight and stars that you saw in your dream, and she kind of she lets you know that she kind of caught wind of that you were looking for a way in to this Youth Thanatos stronghold, and she thinks she has something that would help, a portable door of sorts, that it's only usable once, and so she's willing to part with it, but she's going to need some things from you in return. So for the foretelling, if you can convince Amina to ally with Percival, that will serve his interests. However, she's sort of looking for two things. One is, they'll because she's going to be giving you this in exchange for this door, which would be a one-use thing. She would need something down the line. She'd need a favor down the line, but also sort of more immediately, she is there's a book that she's heard is in Percival's library, called Otson's Grimoire, and she would really love it if you could acquire that book for her, ideally without Percival knowing.
Interesting. Obviously, I'll give her the debt. But I think Red would press, like, why does Percival not have to know? Do you just want to read it, or is there another reason? Or
yeah, so I think she's a little bit, she's a little bit coy about it, but it basically comes out she's asked Percival for it to read it, and he sort of turned her down, and so she's looking for, I guess, another avenue.
so she just wants to read it. So if I can get her the ability to read it,
yeah, I think if you could get her the ability to read it, without him knowing, that would be sufficient. Yes.
so he has to not know. That is part of the deal.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess I should say,
Is it just
if
that he
you
has to
can-
not know, or he has to just not be mad about it?
yeah, if you could convince him that she should be able to read it, I think that would
Okay.
be fine too.
That would be fine too. Okay, perfect. Red is quite happy with that
Okay.
deal. He says this is so fortuitous. If I tell you the truth, as you've heard of me, I've seen you, not in the, but and he, kind of like points to his eyes. But yeah, I don't know. We'll do.
Mhm.
It could be yeah. So he's very intrigued. Will spend most of this event with her if he can get away with it.
Okay. I think yeah, I mean, I think you can, well, I think what you see is that Percival keeps, or what you notice is Percival keeps sort of coming by and sort of I guess re-engaging Red and sort of pulling him away from Amina, sort of throughout this event.
Yeah, and Red will go for a bit, and then he'll make his way back.
I don't think that sort of Red's continuing persistence in this. I don't think that's gone unnoticed by Percival.
Mhm.
And you can you almost see him. You can almost see the daggers flying.
Maybe not so great.
Later in the evening.
All right. Yeah.
Um,
Now scenes.
yeah. Let's see. So, well, I've been calling a lot of scenes with you guys. Do you have scenes that you guys want to do? Anyone want to jump in?
I know I just had a thingy kind of, but there's meant to be a Morgan Red scene that we missed last
Yep.
week.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, so I think Red shows up at Morgan's door.
Morgan invites Red in.
And Red's holding a bottle of really nice wine. He has no idea what it is, but Percival has assured him it's a nice bottle of wine.
Yeah, Morgan will smile and say, "Is that for sharing, or is that for you?"
No, it's after everything that happened, I felt like I might owe you a drink in addition to the reading you asked for.
Sure, I'll get the glasses. Yeah, so I think Morgan's, it's pretty nice, stylish, modern, stylish, suite. He's got various art and so forth around the room. There's probably some like bluesy jazz playing in the background. And I think actually, was this a planned visit? Is that what we're
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Because
Yeah.
there was those texts being like, hey, you
Yep.
owe me. He's like, yeah, I'll
Yep.
read this object for you.
Yep. So I think he's got some Thai food warming up, and he brings out the glasses and pops the cork on there and offers to pour. And he says, "So, tell me about Stella."
Oh gosh. I'm still really sorry about that.
No. Seriously,
She's
I figured you might know Stella, and I've been tasked with finding the perfect gift for her.
Huh. I may be able to help with that. Actually, I have a couple ideas. But no, she's great. She's a really good leader and really funny. And she can kick butt like no one's business. I first met her at I was working at one of Mr. Endicott's bars, and this one customer got kind of rude and grabbed my rear, and she broke his arm, just clear, in 2 seconds, just grabbed his arm and told him, he shouldn't put his hand where it wasn't wanted. I don't know what possessed her to do the kidnapping thing. She has some ideas and thoughts. It wasn't right. Us. I mean, she wanted to be my benefactor, but it's fine. But no, I actually may have an idea I'm looking into. There's a sword, I think, that might be a good temporary gift. Something she could need for a while, but that I'd need back.
Well, this client of mine wants to really impress her with something that'll elevate his station.
I think him giving or being part of giving this sword to her would be pretty good, but I'd need it back. But I do want her to have it for a bit.
Okay.
But
Well,
I'll think more on that if there's something else.
Sure. Thanks.
I'll take the time to see if I get anything.
Yeah. So Morgan, dishes out the tie, puts a plate in front of Red, and chopsticks or forks.
He looks at the chopstick. It's like it's gonna be. He tries. Lord, he tries. It's the fork. I think. Here's a fun question, Kale. This is slightly Kale and slightly Jesse. Have either of you ever served Red Thai food? As in, has Percy ever served it, or has Carrie ever, fed him Thai food?
not on purpose, but it could if it was like convenient. If it was a convenient place to go, I would have. I can also just say yes.
I think that Ty has probably been on the table at some time. You know, Percy's really got like a lot of I think there are a lot of dishes that Red has maybe tried with Percival.
Oh yeah,
Well,
there's a lot of things that he's never had before.
So yeah, I think you've seen it.
Yeah,
I'll leave it to you whether you liked it.
Yeah, no, and I think Red smiles and is just like, oh yeah, I think I've seen this once or twice before. It's Pad Ew, right? Pad Ew.
You're close. Yep, that's good. That's good. I think Morgan, he has the sauces color coded, and he's like, green is mild, yellow is a little spicy, and red only do it if you really don't want to remember this dinner.
Is it like, I'll stick to the green for now.
Okay, that sounds good. You can always upgrade.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting dinner. Also, this is real nice of you, Morgan.
Well, I don't get too many guests here outside of business.
Well, that's a shame.
Visits, but yeah, it's good to have guests over.
Yeah, and Red will take a couple bites,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "So while we're doing this, though, you said you had something you wanted me to look at."
Oh yeah. And so Morgan is barefoot. His shoes are by the door, and he goes over across like the cashmere rug in the living room area, and there's this sort of glass marble case, and he slides open the front glass of it, and he pulls up this metal container that's holding the item inside of it, this object, sort of, Stephen, what was that? Some sort of demon stone or something?
It's like crystallized demon blood. It's probably been carved into something if you want to.
Yeah, so it looks like this really neat sculpture. And he's like, this has just been a delight to have in my living room. It's something, it just draws your attention in a calming way. And I thought it might be nice to get another appraisal of it from a different kind of specialist. And he gently puts it on the counter, almost like it's like a companion to the two of them at their meal.
Mm-hmm. And Red, of course, took his shoes off at the door. He has manners. But I think he's gonna look at it and say, "It'd be real helpful if I can touch it. Is that okay? I don't want to."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I think Red is gonna pick it up, and he kind of starts like running his right forefinger around like any like of the seams or edgings around it. And I'd love to time to roll some psychometry. When you examine an interesting object, roll with spirit. On a hit, the MC asks the questions from the list below. That's a 12.
12. All right.
So I get to ask 3 questions. Yeah. What bans, wards, or limits are attached to this object?
Okay, so what band? Do you want to ask all the questions and then come back, or are you like, why don't you give me the questions you're interested in, and then we'll I think I actually want to jump.
Okay. So what is the history of this object? What bans, wards, or limits are attached to this object? What secrets or mysteries has this object been privy to?
Okay. Perfect. So let's yeah, we will do that. But first, Miss Mash, we have not heard from you yet this session, and I think so the question is, where would Auntie Mame come to find sort of a show up to find Miss Mash and to talk to her?
I mean, probably at the club, right?
Okay. In the back, most likely. I assume you
Yeah, I think I have my nice apartment above the club.
Oh, so it's up in your
Yeah,
apartment?
we'll be up in my apartment.
Cool. What is that? What does Miss Mash's apartment look like?
I think it looks like surprisingly like old fashioned, and like compared to the club downstairs. Most of the furniture is probably like 30 to 50 years old. Like at least like if not more. There are a lot of old photographs, and it's kept very clean.
Excellent. So yeah, I think are you just like sitting at the table working on?
I think if we're my apartment, for once I don't have a wig or any makeup on, but I think I am wearing a nightgown with very fluffy kind of I'm suddenly forgetting the trim.
Okay, perfect. So I think you're just sort of relaxing, off out of the club. You maybe don't have your stage presence on, and I think Auntie Mame just sort of walks out of the room. She doesn't walk through the the main door. She's like walking out of your bedroom, and she just they sit down across from you, and
I take a sip from my wine. Did you find anything interesting in there, Auntie Mame? Auntie.
Oh, nothing, everything I would expect. And how are you, dear? Have you been keeping well? Any good news for me?
Well, I do have a lead on a very hard to get little soul that's I've baited the hook, and I'm just waiting for him to nip at the hook.
Lovely. Well, if I may, I have another for you, assuming you're not too busy. He's one that Akiko was trying to develop, but she has just not been able to quite close the deal, and it's well, I need someone with a little more discretion. There's a gentleman by the name of LaCroix, and I do believe that he, with a little encouragement, a little bit of information, he could maybe be convinced to sign with us. He is very keen on the numbers, and has been looking after the books for organization known as for Euthanatos, and I think we could offer him a little bit of financial advice, and get him he can use that for them, and then he'll be in our debt. Can you arrange that?
Before I say anything, can I put a face to a name here?
Sure.
I assume, is this with power or?
This is with power. Yep.
Okay, I think I'm not great there. Let's see, characters.
You're at 0, so
Yeah, I'm at 0.
not too bad.
It's a 9.
All right. So face to a name.
I think I basically know him, but I don't have anything more than like common knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you sort of recognize the name. He's one of the Euthanatos kind of lieutenants. I think you probably know, sort of where he hangs out. I think there's a coffee shop he favors, and yeah, he seems he hasn't seemed outwardly disloyal to Euthanatos, but he's not quite he's not Oldenburg. He has some nuance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't heard that he was planning on turning anytime soon. I'm just thinking of how to phrase this. If you want me to cut you out a little bit bigger piece of this pie of the city for you, dear, I'm gonna need a little bit more information than that, Auntie.
Oh yeah, so we'll get you the details to give to him. We've some of our other clients have given us some juicy forewarning that I think if we feed it to if we feed it to him and string him along a bit, he'll come along willingly. He'll see it as both. He'll see it as helping them. It won't be a betrayal at first anyway. And as you know, once we have one hook, more will follow.
Of course, I haven't seen you make a play this big for a while. Is something I'm wondering, can I try to figure her out?
Sure.
Because I am wondering if I have. You could feel free to answer this, yes or no, either way. I am wondering here, have I pushed enough to be tempting them with power? I know that they are more powerful than me, but I was trying to tempt them with I'm helping you get some more power here. But
Sure, I'll take that. I think your question of like, yeah, are they?
Wow, I didn't even need that. I rolled an 11.
Oh man, all right. Okay, so you've got what are the questions that you're
Uh,
gonna ask there?
I think let me see here. Basic moves. I think I want to know what's your character hoping. Like, I know that she wants the soul, but I feel like picking this fight with Euthanatos. Like, what's your character hoping to get from, like, I'll actually say, yeah, to get from not like a person, but hoping to get from picking this fight with Euthanatos.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you get 2,
2.
right? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get an addition, actually 3, because we're the same circle.
Ah, right. Okay. Do you want to ask the just go ahead and list them out, and then
Sure. How could I get your character to... And let me see here. I need to check. Give me Akiko's businesses. Like, give me Akiko's like stake in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, number 3 here. Yeah, I'll ask what does your character worry is going to happen.
All right. Okay.
And if you want to think about that,
Yeah,
that's a lot, I know.
Yeah, let's jump over actually to, let's see, who do I have? Who else is on this list? Let's go to Carrie. Speaking of patrons showing up on doorsteps, where would Gus go to find you if he wanted to have a sit down?
I mean, he'd probably, he'd probably, like, what he would probably do is talk to one of my ghouls, right? I stuck a couple of them in the NPC list, right?
Yep. Yep.
Talk to one of my ghouls at the garden, who would let it filter back to me, and I'd come to him. Right? I don't think Gus comes to me.
No, that is
for
fair.
anything, but like, I guess these guys are night, right? Like, there's the North Station, ticket office has a phone. Brendan probably takes most of my calls, is my guess.
Yep. Got it. Perfect. Yeah, so I think Gus summons you to his office then by way of this by way of Brandon. And I think when you show up, it's a he works somewhere. He's his office is up in the I don't think it's a tower. I think he's maybe on the third floor of a townhouse or something like that. Low profile, but his oh, actually, I take it back. He has you come to his club, meet him at his club. That's the one that Red worked at in days of yore.
No, you know what? I take it back. Can he come to me in the garden? I'm realizing something.
Uh,
I know it doesn't. I don't think that makes sense fictionally. I just want him to
Yeah.
come to me for something. We can talk about whether he's coming to me for something here.
oh yeah, I mean, I think that I think as far as the like in your web action, I think he is probably coming to you for something. So
we'll play out the scene, but
yeah. So I think you probably. I mean, I'm sure you've been to his club before, and you
yeah.
you saunter in and sit down in one of the nice the leather chairs next to him and Carrie, good to see you. I'm sure you probably caught wind of the nasty business over in the West End. And of course, Carrie, you have. There's been some kind of an increase in like some you sort of heard rumors of some fights happening, and there was some like unexplained buildings burned. And so Gus he keeps going. So these humans, they're trying to push back into our take back some of what's ours, and we can't have that. We've fought them off for the most part, but I really want to just we gotta end this. They think they're gonna get the drop on us, but I need you to turn the tables. We're gonna they think they know where we've put out word that we knew they could hear, and they think they think we're gonna walk into an ambush. But
who? I'm sorry, Gus. Maybe I'm just missing something here. Who's they?
It's these.
I mean, like they're humans. I understand, but like, what? Who? What people? So they ambush us. We turn around. They're done. What's the concern here?
It's these West Enders. They came run. They took a run at us with some
sorry.
Well,
out of fiction, should I know
Yeah.
who this faction is? These West Enders, like
So this is This is the West End Restoration Society. I think that
Jesse Abelman is very pro West End Restoration, but that's a different.
So this is the
Fuck Urban Renewal.
faction that Dinesh is working with.
Got it. Okay.
And
so they're hunters, basically.
Yeah. So they've got
Okay.
they've got hunters. They've got I mean they they're sort of also working some of the political angles, but
Sure.
Yep.
Got it. I apologize if that was something I should have known and missed.
No, that's fine. I don't know if I've even said.
I have asked you to fuck with Dinesh.
No, Dinesh,
already.
I know, but the West, the stuff going on in the West End, I was confused about. That's cool.
Yep.
No. Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, no, I can. It's that crew that fucker Dinesh is working with, right? That's the deal.
Yeah, that's them. They're yeah.
I've had a run in or two with him. And I think, all right. I got someone I can talk to, who maybe owes me, who has a connection there. Um, uh, yeah, let's. No, I can. So, what do you want exactly? You want them taken care of?
Yeah, that's
Just
right. Well,
this one crew, or is there something bigger here that needs to happen?
this they have just we need to I mean, there's a lot there. They keep coming out of the woodwork, and we need to do enough damage that they sit back on their heels and cool it for a while.
So here's the thing, right? Part of me wants to roll to figure him out, and part of me, this feels very transparent. Like, I don't feel like I necessarily have a reason to, right? I do though, because I want to get, I do. So yeah, let's
Okay.
let's figure him out.
Sure.
Let's figure him out. I'm sort of looking him over and listening to what he says. I'm using my vampire, senses.
Yep.
My history with him. That is an 8 plus mind, which is, if I remember correctly, not terribly high. 0, so that's an 8. I get 1 question and no follow-ups, right? No, 1 question. I get 2 questions and they can ask me 1 too.
Yeah.
So first of all, the first question I'm going to ask is because he is in my web, I am going to ask, what is your character's true hunger?
All right. Okay. And what's your second question?
My second question is, how can I get your character to loosen my leash?
Okay.
Right? Or no, bigger. Think bigger, Carrie. How can I get your character to hand over complete control of the garden to me? Which is still not that big in the scheme of things, but
all right.
Bigger than a single debt kind of situation.
Yep. Okay. And I think let's see. What does Gus want to know? I think Gus wants to know what Carrie is hoping to get out of kind of going along with this plan. Assuming that Carrie seems like he is going to do what Gus is asking. I think Gus would want to I think Gus wants to know what Carrie's underlying motivations are, right? Sure, Gus has strings, Gus has leverage, but
I mean, it's just very straightforward, right? My harbor lies in the territory of a Status 3 vampire lord. I control my territory thanks to Gus. Doing things that are within my power to do for Gus is better for me than trying to resist them. If it felt like impossible or really hard or outside of my abilities, I might try to weasel out or whatever. But this is very squarely in my wheelhouse. It's it's not like nothing. It's a real ask, but it's not like a crazy ask given our relationship, I feel. So, I'm gonna do it and hope through it I can ultimately, break free to some extent, right?
Yeah.
It's maybe misguided. That's not how that works, but
Perfect. All right, and I think I'm not sure if there's going to be so I think to answer your question, so Gus, what is Gus's true hunger? I think the real thing here is that Gus Gus has a passion that maybe transcends his sort of business operations, which is he's an art collector, and he is looking for like that building up a well, let's see, you mentioned that you helped orchestrate the Gardner heist, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Did we say who that was for?
What?
I said,
Yeah,
did
maybe
we
on
say who
Gus's
that was for?
behalf, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. So I think he is sort of always on the lookout for truly unique pieces to add to his collection.
Got it.
And so how could you get him to hand over control? So I think so to Gus, the garden is a kind of valuable it's valuable real estate to sort of conduct deals out of, and your your stewardship is part of that. I think if you wanted like complete full control over it, you'd have to you'd have to sort of prove kind of beyond a doubt that your ability to run it, and then you'd probably need to sweeten the pot with something, so you need to run it and kind of commit to a how to say this. He'd be fine having a tithe, as it were, and giving you a little more independence on, say, day-to-day operations. But he might need something to kind of sweeten the pot, since he's already kind of getting your you in some ways you're acting as a subsidiary organization. I think if you had let me put that a little differently. I think you'd have to show that you are an up and comer in the organization.
Got it. So to clarify, the answer is I can't, but I can become somewhat more independent.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That answer makes a lot of sense. Cool. All right, filing that one away in my back pocket. If I make myself useful and get him the things that he wants.
All right. Dancy, we have not heard from you in a while. I think, let's see. So I think there's two things happening here. One is well, let's see. So one is relatively quick, and I think that's Red and Dancy. I mean, I would say that's if you want to go, if you did you have a scene in mind?
Oh yeah, 100%. I know exactly what I want to do in this scene. At least I know at least how to kick it off. Obviously, what they'll do is
Sure.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, go for it.
So if I got in touch with the two of you? Where do you like? Does it? Hey, does like a meet? I've got a. I'm trying to pull something together that I think would be. Red, you could help. I think I tell you two different things. They're not contradictory, right? Red, I tell you I'd love to get together with you. I could really use your help with something. And Dancy, I say, I'm still working on your thing. I haven't made a ton of progress yet, but I am working on it. I may even tell you the thing about like getting pulled into unmarked van. Fill you in on that extra information about Tlaylock. But I think there's a we could maybe come up with I think aside from that, there's something I want to talk to you about. Red's going to be here too. And it could clear up that little bit that you owe me. Would you come for that, Dancy? I know our relationship's a little bit more fraught than my relationship. Well, fraught in a different way than my relationship with Red.
I'll meet you. I want some answers.
All right, sounds good. I think I just propose. It doesn't exist anymore, but since we're talking like West End stuff and whatever, or Bucky's roast beef. Anyone remembers that place? It was like an old sort of Buzzies, not Bucky's, Buzzies, which was sort of in the West End area, little surrounded by high rises. This little 1-story like sandwich shop. We'll pretend it's still there because I love it. So. I'm there already. I've ordered sandwiches for both of you. I don't have anything in front of me. Hey, you with us, Red? I'm just checking in because I haven't heard from you. Kay, are you here? Did you hear any of that?
Yes, but Red is in the middle of another scene, so I kind of don't know how to...
I missed. I thought that scene had ended.
It hadn't ended.
I mean,
so I was a little unsure how to handle that.
I can just have my scene with Nancy, and I can talk to Red later. That's also fine.
Yeah, because I'm happy to be in a scene. I was just a little confused, so I was trying to figure out. Yeah,
I apologize. I thought for some reason.
No, that's not your fault.
I'm happy. I'm happy playing like fast and loose with exact chronologies. If Red wants to be in this scene,
we want to do that.
Come back to
we can do that. Yeah, because I don't think anything that sort of ties into the Bloodstone may tie back into here. As long as you're okay with that, David.
I'm fine. Morgan does have a professional Zoom account if they want to do it over, an office or something.
That's fun.
Can't do that.
No, I'm totally fine with it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Red shows up, and I think he is so very pleased to see that sandwich there.
Yeah, I figured.
That there's something very sweet in his mind about that sort of provider-y kind of vibe.
Yeah. So the first thing I say is look, listen. There's, like working my way around to it. How's a sandwich, et cetera, et cetera. But if I look, I've got a little problem. You folks both know Dinesh Chopra.
Can I put a face to the name? I don't know if I know Dinesh Chopra.
Sure, roll it.
Yeah. Face to the name. It's with it would be
Power.
Mortalis. Power. Oh, it is Power. Okay.
Is it?
No, it's Mortalis.
Mortalis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got confused there for a second. I was like, it's Mortalis, right? Okay. Yeah, Mortalis. Which I have nothing. So just straight. 4. Nope.
4. Okay.
Have fun with me having a 4.
And I think you can go ahead and check Mortalis off.
Yeah.
Face to a name. On a miss, you don't know them or you owe them. What is it that you owe Dinesh for? Red, since you seem to have gotten yourself.
How do I owe Janesh? Yeah. I think it's very simple. I think on my very first night in this city, he saved me from being eaten by just like a rando vampire. He's a vampire
Nice.
hunter, right?
Yeah.
Just like he, saved me and was like, "Hey."
Yeah. So I say so.
Dancy doesn't answer your question. She is eating.
Yeah. So I say to both of you. So I'm really. I'm in a this guy's been chasing me, mine, trying to cause us trouble, and I'm looking for any kind of edge I can get. Dancy, I've heard through the grapevine that that Dinesh might owe you for something. And if you could just, pass on word that it would help you out a lot if he helped me out. Like, I think we could cancel the favor. That would help even things out, maybe, given what I supply to you, if you understand. And mechanically here, I'm cashing in a debt to give me a debt that you hold on someone else.
What do you give Miss Dancy?
Well, I really can't. Red. I reach my hand across the table. This is, just like I wouldn't break any of your confidences. I can't break Dancy's. It's obviously, if she wants to tell you, that's up to her. But it's
sorry.
I buy smack from him, says Dancy. Now, Dancy doesn't say a word until she finishes her sandwich. Fortunately, she eats the sandwich as if she was expecting someone to grab it out of her hand. So she just goes to town on it. And then, kind of stuffs up the crumbs. No, that was okay.
Yeah, I could get you another sandwich if you want another sandwich.
I don't want another sandwich.
You want like lemonade or pie or something?
Is it real lemonade?
I look to Carrie. Is it real lemonade?
Carrie, I shrug.
If it's real lemonade, sure. If it's the crap that comes out of a machine, no.
I mean, I think you look over and we can see that it's one of those dripping, those machines with like that has the rotating lemonade.
Oh yeah, it looks like lemonade. Yeah, I think Red will order 2 lemonades. But
Dancy.
If I'm going to be honest, Mr. Chopra's been. No, you can say some Dancy.
One thing you notice that when Dancy moves a little stiffly.
Oh, sorry. I should say.
Hurt Dancy?
Not too bad. She pats her side. Just got my ribs opened up a little bit.
What? Do you want to call a doctor?
No, I stitched it up. Morgan helped.
Red just looks with like the biggest doe eyes at Carrie.
One of Stella's doggies did it.
Oh my good. Is that because of me?
Yeah.
Because of me, you were coming after me, and
I was coming to get you, and we had a disagreement.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
I just say Dancy's real tough. You could hear the real admiration in my voice when I say that.
I'm going to reach into my back belt, and I'm going to put a kitchen knife on the table. And I'm going to say to nobody in particular, but it's obviously meant for Carrie. It's like, you promised to give me information on Playlock.
And I'm still
And
looking,
you've had,
and I've told you what I found out.
And you've had some time. And if that's all you know, then I'm going to go looking myself on your turf. Fair warning is as good as a promise.
And I open my hands, and I say, if you do, then you do, and you'll get what you get. I'm here to talk about something else.
Dinesh is just trying to protect his neighborhood. You guys are moving in on him. Why should I help you?
Because you owe me.
Yeah. And if you want me to do something for you, I will. But I'm not going to screw him over.
So what I'm asking you for a simple thing. It's easy for you to do. I'm not even asking you for to screw anybody over. I'm just saying your favor will get spent. His favor will get spent. Your favor. I'm just saying, nice, easy. Let him know if he does something for me, he'll be good with you. No one's getting screwed over here. And then I'll ask him to do me a favor, and that'll be up to him whether he wants to do that or not.
Maybe it would be a good idea to do that. I think, if you could help. I mean, because Carrie's ideas are usually real good, so maybe it'll be good for both you and Mr. Chopra. And it's just a meeting. I mean, it's a meeting, so it's not like it's a.
The Vamps have been trying to move in on the West End for a while now.
So
I'll talk to him.
I was about to say,
I'll talk to him, but I'll make you a promise.
Sure.
Anything that happens to him might just happen to somebody else.
Well, you're not gonna hurt him, right?
I'm just telling you. Just telling you.
No, not you, Dancy. I mean, Carrie, you said you're not gonna hurt him. You said you're just gonna talk.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him to live up to the promise that he made to Dancy.
So that's fine, all right? No one's going to get hurt. They're just talking.
You aren't going to get him to stop fighting you. You can't do that.
Oh, that's between me and him. Once you've I'm confused, Dancy. Are you going to do what I ask or not?
I'll talk to him and set up a meeting for you.
Okay.
If that's what you want.
That's great.
What I want is what he owes you to be owed to me.
Yeah, that's not possible. You didn't save his life.
All right. So Dancy.
So you're refusing to honor a debt is what I'm hearing.
I'm refusing to honor it in the specific way that you're asking. Yes.
That's fine.
And if that's refusing, then it's refusing. But it doesn't make this debt doesn't make sense that it would be transferable.
That it's not
yeah, I mean, so mechanically, like debts are currency. So I think whether Dancy considers that, sort of she's washed her hands of Dinesh after, sort of transferring the debt is one thing. But if she were to, to Dinesh and to Carrie, if she were to basically, like, if she were going to ask
You
Dinesh
saved
to
my
work with
life.
Carrie,
I'm asking
yeah,
you to help this person, right?
right, like then
Or I saved your life. I'm asking you to help this person.
right at that point. So Dinesh like would be, it would be a
I think that even makes sense fictionally too. I don't know what the
yeah.
I'm not sure what the fictional like confusion is either.
The fictional confusion is because you guys are his enemies.
Right. So that he could then refuse, like he can then turn around and refuse the debt.
Right. There, I mean, and yes. So
But
the question of what,
there's no dishonor in refusing a debt to someone who hates you and is trying to kill you.
well, I think that
that would be up to him.
and the question of like, is Carrie,
okay, that's his currency feels a little funny. But I'm not going to push back against the mechanics.
okay, so just to clarify, are you
and like
is Dancy refusing?
Just to also be clear, like the promise and the threat makes perfect sense and is wonderfully in character. Like I love it. I'm not. That's
yeah.
That's awesome. I just wanted to just like, I'll do this for you, but watch your back if you fuck him over. Is I think a very reasonable.
Yeah, and effectively the only thing that really happens here, you still do all that. The role to refuse a debt is just to see what the consequences of refusing that are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So,
oh yeah,
right.
and
Dancy,
you can refuse that. You can absolutely refuse it. Yeah. If you choose to refuse the debt, that's also something you can do.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell him to do what you want.
All right.
If you wanted me to set up a meeting with you guys, I'll do that. If you want me to ask him to consider what you're proposing carefully, I'll do that. I'm not going to basically say, your debt's transferred. No.
That's the thing I'm asking for here.
Okay. No.
All right. So in that case, go ahead and roll it, Dancy. So you're going to roll with the difference in status, which in this case is 0 between you and Carrie.
Status, yeah.
That's a miss.
All right. On a miss, you can't avoid the hammer. Either honor the debt in full or erase all debts owed to you by their circle and take a -1 ongoing to status with their circle until after time passes.
Which would fictionally make sense here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if right,
you're declaring yourself an enemy of, night, which you kind of have done. I think it actually makes
well,
sense.
not until this moment.
Yeah.
The point is that by pushing on this, you say, okay, basically you're saying that I have to do this for you, or I'm your enemy.
So let's see, Dancy.
And I say to Carrie, is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, then.
You can't
Bring it.
What? This just, why can't you just give him a thing? I think that would just be really so much easier for everyone, Dancy.
Because it's the wrong thing to do.
Please don't do this.
I'm sorry, Red. I don't have a lot of people on my side. I'm not going to pitch away one of the few that there is.
Miss Dancy, was trying. I didn't want to influence what you had to say or choose or not, but I saw something, and if you don't like if you make an enemy this big, Miss Dancy, it's not going to end well, and it's not. I don't want to see you get real hurt. And so I think Red is lying and saying, like, if you don't side and do this, you're going, he's seen something bad in one of his visions, essentially, that will hurt Dancy.
So go ahead and that mark corruption, I think, right?
Some corruption there. Yeah. Someone actually wouldn't mind tapping that for me. For some reason, the little whatchamacallit is not responding to me right now, but I don't want to try to reset it.
Were you at 1 already? Sorry, hold on. I have to.
Yes, I was already at 1 corruption.
Okay, so you should be at 2.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You're at 2.
Thank you.
And Dancy's back. Technical hurdles. Okay. So I think, Dancy, there is still there's still the question of, are you going to honor this debt or not? Not honor the debt. The question is, what's the outcome?
So you at least believe that, Red is saying that this is a great danger to you.
If you don't stand up for what you believe in, then what does anything else matter?
Surviving, keeping the people you care about safe.
This feels like a reasonable place to cut the scene.
Sure.
All right.
I have another thing I want to ask Red, but this is better than that.
Okay. So mechanically, Dancy, go ahead and erase your debt on Morgan and your debt on Carrie. I think those are the only 2 debts you hold against Knight folks.
Yeah.
And then you have -1 status with Knight effectively until time passes. And then let's take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and do the 2. We've got these 2 sets of questions, and that'll probably take us to close to time. And we'll go from there.
I'm back.
I'm also back.
I'm back 2, 3, 4.
Huzzah.
Nevo is apparently doing a new book in the same universe as her the Chosen and the
Ooh, really? The Chosen the Beautiful?
yeah.
Very nice. That's awesome. Yeah, that was the first. I think the first game I'd ever played Red, and then that one kind of had we had like a bunch of like timing issues and shenanigans, unfortunately, and that's why I was like, wow, I really like this character. I definitely want to try to play him in an Urban Shadows game again. Yeah, that was a fun game. That was good. I kind of miss those reading clubs. They were very fun.
You miss who?
The reading clubs, where we
Oh yeah.
those were very nice. I get why they're hard to do, but they were still.
Yeah, they're also. I started a full-time job past year, so it's been harder for me to arrange stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. No. Like I do not. It was a very fabulous thing to do when you were able to do it.
Sorry. I want to jump back to Red and Morgan. In our so you had some questions. So what bans, wards, or limits are there on this artifact? Was the first question, right?
Yes.
Interesting.
It was basically the first three questions.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, sure. So let's see. So for oh, I should have realizing I didn't look and see if the book has any specific advice on how much information to give you, but I don't see it. So I think that so that for the history, the thing that Red gets here, that Red senses, is that this this artifact has changed hands many times. I don't know if I forget if Morgan specifically mentioned this or if knew this. I forget who exactly knew what about this artifact, but you know, the Red gets the sense that this is the history here is almost prehistoric, but that, you know, every time that, you know, it has been through many has been used by many people over many ages, and that its use always with, you know, by one person always ends in some very powerful magic. The limits specifically is that and I think the sense of you get essentially why it keeps changing hands is that once it's been used by someone, they can't use it again. So it's
so it's like a one-time use thing.
It's a one-time use for any given person, but that other people can use it after that.
Okay.
And then the question of what secrets or mysteries has the object been privy to? It is, I guess, entwined with sort of mysteries of life and death, and specifically passing kind of back and forth across that boundary. Does that sort of
yeah, that's definitely some history for it. Some good history.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to do to sort of close out that scene, or should we?
Yeah, I mean there's a bit more than a bit to it.
Yeah.
I think Red is gonna So were there any wards or anything to it, or is it just
No ward specifically, but just that limit of, it really is
Okay.
only can be used once.
only can be used once? Okay. Yeah, I think then yeah, so Red is going to take kind of a bit of a deep breath as he looks over to where he says, and this is not good, Morgan. This is really bad. This is it's really dangerous. Specifically, even more so, I think, to someone of your status as a protector of a location.
Mm-hmm.
It's corrupting. The demonic origin of it. I think it's really good that you got me to look into this, because I don't know if this had spent more time in your presence, I don't know what it could have done with you. It's sunk its hooks in, so to speak. This can't stay here, Morgan. Side note, I am lying. Red is.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm gonna
go ahead and mark that
I'm gonna
corruption,
mark
because you
that
are
corruption. I think I might know someone who could try to remove the curse on it that's doing this, but it's real bad, Morgan.
Well, I appreciate you being honest with me, Red.
Of course, you protect our home.
Right, exactly. Like this is our home, and whatever happens here happens to all of us. And I don't know if you know, but when we went looking for you, it got pretty scary. Dara fled for her life. Dancy almost didn't make it. We were really close from losing it. And
I'm so sorry to hear that. And like tears are falling down his eyes as he says that. I didn't want anyone to get hurt because of me. I told Dara that she should go to Carrie, and that's what she should have done. She shouldn't have bothered any of you, and I'm real sorry that she did it.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment. I think there seems to be some miscommunication in relationships going on around here. And, we should start by being open and honest with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for sharing. Thanks for coming over and giving me your honest appraisal. I'm going to check on some other leads with it, and then I'll have to determine what to do with it.
Morgan, I can't in good conscience let this stay here with you another night. If you want, I can put it in our vault. I was going to ask the person I was going to have Percival look at it, because he knows magical items. But this is. I don't think what I'm saying is maybe getting through to you, but it's really it's not okay. It can't stay here. Your life is in danger the longer it's here.
Sorry, Morgan just dropped out for a second. Morgan, how much did you miss, or what did you hear before you got disconnected? Maybe not back yet.
David?
We can't hear you, David, if you're talking.
Are we all back?
Yes.
Okay.
What'd you hear last?
It sounded like Red was going to protest.
Yeah,
with
Red
Morgan
was.
going onto it.
Yeah, Red was is protesting and is saying, I really can't let you keep it here another night. This being in your possession is a threat to your life, Morgan.
How so?
The thing that's inside of it, that curse, it's dangerous, and even more so that curse, it draws things in, and I can't even describe what I saw. It's hard. And I think, he's been crying through most of this time. Ever since you had started talking about like the ways that people had gotten hurt. I really don't want to see you get hurt because of this rock.
Well, my mom always taught me to face my fears. Morgan's going to let it out and try to break the thing open and rip it apart.
Oh my God.
So that's a roll with the spirit, I think.
So one of my qualities
Yes.
is that I'm savage. My harm is armor piercing and messy.
Uh-huh.
All right. Roll with that. Where's the dice roller, David? There it is. All right. I'm looking for anything else on my sheet that might feed into this.
Are you like changing into your? Are you transforming first and then
Yeah.
crushing it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
So
actually. Yeah, I was gonna like just rip it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's going to give you a +1 on to letting it out, because that's one of your other qualities, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
I guess I think we had originally talked about this being, well, I don't know what the timing is, but we'll
figure it
it's
out.
at dinner, so it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Morgan's suddenly just his skin, like there's something under it, and then it suddenly turns into marble and stone, and it just changes into this monstrous form with these wings, and he grips the thing and goes to pull it apart.
Yeah, and the whole time Red's just like, no, I don't think that's a good idea, Morgan.
All right, let's do that. Let's see what we got here.
All right. Well, you so you succeed. You're let it out. Let's see, on a hit, mark corruption and activate the ability. The effect is costly, limited, or unstable. I think. Well, let's see. So I think that even with your sort of I think even in your transformed form, I don't know if you can just sort of tear this well. So I think you can let's see. So I think there's two things that are going to happen here. So one is, I think as you crush this this demon blood in your hands, this stone in your hands, I think the energy released here is going to hurt you. So do you have armor in this form?
I do. I have a way to transfer.
Yeah. Well, so you also have just one armor by being in gargoyle
Right.
form.
Yeah, and then I can. Where is it? Transfer 2 harm instantly, starting with critical harm when in contact. Yeah.
I see. Okay, but that would be a separate let it out roll. So
Yeah.
I think you would take 2 harm. You've got
Okay,
1 armor,
yeah.
so that brings it down to 1
Sure.
1 harm. I also think that you can't it's not like this demon's blood is sort of, crumbling to dust. I think you've kind of crushed it into shards. And there was definitely a release of energy. But I think both of you can still tell that there is some sort of residual there's residual energy left here.
Morgan, I think Red just wipes a hand over his eyes and bends down and is gonna start like scooping up all the shards together. He's like, that's not gonna do it all. You can't just brute force strength everything.
I think Morgan will take some of this. Is it just all crystal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think actually you've also some of the shards are actually like stuck into Morgan's hands as
Awesome.
though he weren't marble at all.
Yeah, I like it. Morgan is gonna. This is totally fiction. He's gonna attempt to absorb some of it into him.
Okay.
He's thinking of using that stone ability. This may go totally bad for him.
All right. So that's going to be another let it out.
All right.
The roller. Oh, there it is. Did you roll? I'm not seeing.
No, I'm looking at. All right, so +2. All right, let's do that. All right, here we go.
A 10. So I think so. You can. So it's you are. So your harm will heal. And then you get to decide whether to mark corruption or to have some to have one of those downsides complication.
Let's mark corruption again.
Okay, so you're up to 4.
Yep.
And so I think I think you've yeah. So I think the shards just sort of sink deeper into Morgan's hands and then close up again, and you actually feel sort of almost a surge of energy. And Red, you're left with I think you scooped some shards off the floor, but it is reduced.
I think Morgan just like smash flies out of his flat like into the night, screaming.
Okay, and I think we'll call that a scene. Ms. Mash, you had some questions about Auntie Mame, way back. So one was, what are you hoping to get from picking a fight with you, Thanatos? She's not actually looking to pick a fight. She is almost. I mean, she's the demon of greed, and I think she is collecting for the joy of collecting jewels in her necklace. I think there's also having more friends, more people that owe her across the city is kind of the way she is also a way she kind of leverages power, or sets herself up to leverage power. But it's I think for her it's also just it's almost a compulsion. For the question of how can you get Akiko's stake, I think 3rd time's the charm. So if you can bring in Dinesh Lacroix and someone else to show up Akiko, or to poach one more off of Akiko, that will sort of seal the deal in Auntie Mame's mind. And then what is Auntie Mame worried about? She is worried that one of her siblings is getting closer to finding his way out into the world, which would make her life significantly more difficult. I'm trying to think if you would have. Yeah, I think basically you sort of led with the question of why is she making this move, and I think as part of that she sort of lets on that she is in some ways preparing for the worst, that if Wrath can make his way into the world, her business will get that much more difficult, and there will sort of be that she's almost trying to stock up now in case of famine later, as it were. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you have anything more you wanted to sort of follow up with? I'm like looking at the time. I know we're at almost 11:20. And you wanted to have some time for.
No, it's fine, because I guess I need to figure out myself. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and do the end of session move, and then we'll I'll stop the stream and we can do Stars and Wizards. So I guess going just in order, Carrie, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Trying to remember what the end of said.
Right.
You grow
Sorry,
you engage with. Yeah. Because you engage with creature score decrease and mark one of them. Oh, so yeah, I think a couple of things pretty intensely happened here. I like really threw myself on the line for night. Weirdly, not quite sure how. I mean, I know how that happened, but so I think my night went up, and you Thanatos probably doesn't like me now. I know Dancy's pretty upset at the choices I made. So I think probably up with night and down with power. And I'm going to mark night, which gets me in advance. And I have some questions about advancements. I'll stick them in the thread, and we'll talk them out over the week, maybe.
Sounds good.
Great.
Miss Mash.
Yeah, I guess I'll increase wild because it's the only character I interacted with. And I'll decrease power.
Okay. Morgan.
Yeah, so I think increase wild. Is that the demon one?
Yeah.
Yep. And decrease mortal. So I'm -1 mortal now.
Okay. And are you marking wild? Did you already mark Mortalis, or are you marking wild for the?
No, wild. This is my first time marking wild, so I finally have an advance.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dancy.
Clearly Knights on my shit list. And I think I'm patching it up with the werewolves.
So the werewolves are also
The werewolves are also Knight. Never mind.
Yep.
My most recent interaction before that was with Miss Mash, so I'll go with that. That's wild.
Okay. I mean, I could also see if you wanted to. You did sort of put yourself you're on Knight's shit list because you put yourself on the line for Mortalis. So I could see if you wanted to do that and then mark Mortalis for the advance. You certainly.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
I could see you being. Oh, okay. So wild was also. I wasn't sure which you had.
No, I have had only.
Got it.
2 marks before this.
Okay. And Red.
Yeah. Red is not copacetic with Knight right now. Knight is not doing great by him. That whole thing with Morgan was devastating, and I think. Let me know if it's rational. I think Red's never felt more fucking mortal and unpowerful than he has tonight. So I will move that around.
All right.
And I've marked Knight, so I too get an advance.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, and we can do any chat about if there's any questions on advancement. We can do that in the Slack, and we'll do some stars and wishes.